We pulling?
What's up? I'm Jimfro, and this is the Ready Check Pull Boss Guide to Forgeweaver Araz on Normal and Heroic. Big thank you to our supporters on Patreon. We've completely overhauled our Patreon exclusive content this tier with early access, extended heroic walkthroughs, and a bunch more. So Forgeweaver is the 4th boss in the raid and is a bit of a step up from the previous 3 bosses. It's a 2-phase fight with 2 intermissions, and you bloodlust after the first intermission. The main idea is that there's these 3 collector shrines, and you gotta stop these little orb ads from getting to them and charging it up. Then, during the intermission, you kill the collectors. You repeat phase 1 and the intermission a second time to get to the second phase where the boss is trying to suck you to your death. Sick. On Heroic, before you pull, you'll need to split the raid into 2 soak groups for arcane obliteration. Alright, so you'll start by pulling the boss basically where he's standing. After a few seconds, the boss will activate one of the collectors and it'll start slowly gaining energy and shoot out a bunch of discs. They do a ton of damage, so definitely don't get hit by one. Soon after that, the boss will target a few players with purple circles under their feet. These players take damage and need to stack up on top of the boss because after a few seconds, they'll drop some orb ads that are trying to get to one of the collectors to charge it, which is real bad. So you'll need to stun, knock, and kill them before they get to the collector and basically wipe the raid. The first set is pretty easy, but later on you'll have multiple sets of 3 at the same time, so you'll really want to have some displacement CC in the raid and some big burst AoE damage to control and kill the ads super quickly. While that's going on, the boss will put a giant group soak on the current tank. Once this happens, a few players will need to help soak the damage, which will then spawn a big echo ad. If the echo and the boss are close to each other, they both do way more damage and take almost no damage. So the way that we dealt with this is to have the raid stack on the boss with the soak, and then have the tank with the boss move the boss away while everyone else blasts the big ad as fast as possible. The reason we move the boss away from the echo instead of the other way around is because it's much easier to cleave down the little orbs and the echo together when you're not moving all over the place. While the big echo is up, it'll cast whatever the boss casts, which basically means more stuff to dodge. On Heroic, the soak gives a big heal absorb, and you'll need to split the raid in half since anyone who soaks gets the debuff that prevents them from soaking a second time in a row. Once the echo is dead, drag the boss back to the middle of the room and repeat phase 1. You'll get more orb ads that need to be controlled and more tank soaks that spawn another echo, and so on. The tanks also have a stacking magic debuff that they'll need to taunt swap every 2 or 3 stacks or when the debuff falls off. When the boss gets full energy, he'll become immune and run over to the console, starting the intermission. At this point, everyone should immediately move to the collector with the highest energy and burn it down as fast as possible. Once that one's dead, rotate clockwise to the next collector and kill that, and then move to the final one and finish it off. But make sure you kill the one with the most energy first. The tanks will need to pick up the ads, and everyone just cleaves them down on top of the collectors. These ads have a stacking buff that gets reset whenever they switch targets, so you might need a taunt swap on the ads whenever they start to hurt. The ads also have a shield, but it doesn't really do anything. During testing while we were doing the intermission, if one of the collectors got to full energy, it would start shooting at the Manaforge in the center, which wipes the raid pretty quickly, but you were able to drag the ads in between the collector and the Manaforge to stop the raid wipe. Not really sure if this is going to make it live though. The healers need to be ready to use some big cooldowns if the intermission takes too long because of the stacking dot that ramps up the longer you're in the intermission. Once all 3 collectors are dead, the boss will stop doing any mechanics, become attackable again, and take 100% increased damage. This is where you'll bloodlust and blast the boss. After a few seconds, you'll repeat phase 1 and then do the intermission a second time. After the second intermission, the boss will start phase 2. In phase 2, the boss spawns a giant black hole that does a big dot and tries to suck you off the edge. The dot does more damage and the suck gets much stronger the longer the phase goes on, so you'll need to immediately move the boss to the back of the room. You still have the tank swap and the swirlies to dodge, same as phase 1, but now the circles that spawn on players need to be dropped as far away from the black hole as possible, and the ads need to be cleaved down before they reach the black hole and wipe the raid. We put a lock gate down to help any slow priests that were getting sucked too hard, which seemed to help a bunch along with any raid-wide movement abilities you have. And that's pretty much it. Here's a quick recap for you to review or screenshot for later. You can find all of our recaps over at the Ready Check Pull Discord. Big thank you to our supporters on Patreon. We've got a ton of Patreon exclusive content coming out this tier, like early access, extended heroic walkthroughs, and a bunch more. So check out the Discord and Patreon links below. Peace.